Alrighty. So
There he is.
today's laundry day, by the way, so that's why I'm wearing this shirt. So where do I start? So 2 days ago, Wednesday, Fee and I went to cover the protest. And I'm just going to give you a small recap. People from the community, different organizations, and just people who want to see justice have been protesting outside the sheriff's department in Imperial Highway in Southeast LA since the murder of Dijon Kizzee. Now, the protests are peaceful from what we've seen. Here's some footage from the night of when I went. I did a 4-hour live stream that night. They were just, huddled there right in front of the sheriff's department. That's the sheriff's department. This has 5,000 views. I think there's a lot of pro-cop people in there. Now, from what we've seen, every time we've gone out, the protest has been peaceful. For the first night, the protests were in plain clothes, and it was, the day of Dijon's murder. After escalation from the sheriffs to move protesters further away from their station, protesters have been showing up in Portland-style gear, because of this. Like, look at this. So here they're backing up. They formed a line, and people have been copying the Hong Kong tactics, and they're backing up from the order of the sheriffs to back up. The intersection's over here, and usually they protest over there, so they backed up.
When was this, Jonny?
Look at that.
What day was this?
I think this is 2 or 3 days ago.
Those projectiles with those? Yeah. Dude, that gas we got hit with, like that fed gas.
Look at how many sheriffs there are. There's so many sheriffs.
I feel like that's war.
So I want to play this again because I don't know if you guys saw the sheriff beating the protesters. That guy was just standing there. That's fast version. Here's slow version. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So you're sure, Jonny, that they threw not even a water bottle before?
Did you see a water bottle? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any.
I'm just saying, like,
when I've been out there, I think I've seen one water bottle get thrown out.
Where was this at, Jonny?
Imperial and Normandy, around that area?
Yeah, Imperial Highway and Normandy Avenue in Southeast LA, right out front of the sheriff's. It's South
Maria Estrada's district.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
So you see a sheriff there beating on a protester. This was the same night that I believe that a photographer, Juliana Lacasse, was injured badly and arrested by LA Sheriff's Department. And here's a video.
Stay together, stay tight.
This is her live stream.
Let's go.
Oh shit! What the fuck?
Fuck, that hurt.
So, there's a video of she was live streaming there, and LA Sheriff's Department bull rushed and attacked her. She was arrested that night, and she's a photographer. And let's take a look at her injuries. Here you can see some of her injuries. Here she posted some of my injuries from last night's attack. So this was 3 days ago. So this was about the 7th, and shot in the head, hand, shoulder, and head. She was wearing a helmet. Knee was pressed into her neck and back as she was being cuffed with metal cuffs. making her hand swell. So that's bruises. There's some bruising there. Look at
What's this woman's name?
Juliana.
All right, I have Alex Villanueva's number, his office right now, ready to call when you guys are ready. If you want me to call this fucking office right now,
yeah,
give him a piece of my mind.
We got cuffs there, cuff markings. There's some blood there. This looks like the Imperial Star Wars thing. I think she made a post about that over here.
The Death Star. Oh no, the Imperial. That's the badge for the Imperial Death March.
Yeah.
People. Dan.
But basically, yeah, she got injured pretty badly. I mean,
terrible. So wouldn't that be considered an unlawful arrest? If she has credentials? I mean, I don't know if she does or not.
I don't know if she does have credentials. And then here's one more picture where she was lined up with other protesters, and her hands are red. She's not wearing gloves or anything. That's blood. That's all blood right there.
Shit.
So
did she have is this her webpage? Or this is
her Instagram, yeah.
So can you go back to the main page when you get a chance, Johnny? I just want to see if she's got other. So she's got other stuff up there. She's been covering other protests before. This isn't the first time, or.
Yeah, no, she's been covering stuff. Yeah.
But the thing is, if you have the sheriff,
well, that's what I'm going to ask this department. What are the credentials needed?
Yeah.
And are we able to go get these credentials
and
stuff?
You have to go apply, and then what it says in the application is that you have to have like 6 months or 6 events in the last 3 months or 6 months or something like that, and then to be considered. But
we
just
don't need them, do we?
But just like with the Julian Assange thing, who
Right.
determines who gets the credentials?
Exactly.
The state that benefits the from not credentialing you, unless you are going to be pro their narrative. I mean, the media is there, like I said before to many people, the fourth estate was there to hold the state accountable. The police are part of the state. They're part of the government. So if we don't have people overseeing the government, then what are we doing? We have propagandists, and that's what we have in the mainstream media. So it's just like, it's you can't have these people decide who is a journalist and who isn't. This is why Assange is so important. This is exactly why Assange is so important. Because if they prosecute Assange, that's it. Like, all of us were fucked. We're fucked because if they got to him, they're going to get to everybody else. It sets a precedent.
Johnny, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. And this was actually the same picture. You know that Billy Bob guy from Fox 11?
Yeah.
Yeah, he shared this picture and called them all Antifa agitators and stuff
So,
like
that
that.
is not Antifa, asshole.
Yeah.
That is far from Antifa.
So let's keep going. So not only have protesters and media been hurt, arrested, and detained, but we are seeing sheriffs seize water. Most dangerous weapons available to protesters is cops just seize some chalk. It looks like they're going to seize that water right there. Like, they're going to seize the water right here too, maybe.
I watch your shit.
This part was funny. People were really...
Yeah, they're going to seize that water. I don't know.
Here it is.
So they seize
They're looting.
water. Yeah, they're looting, guys. They're looting. Looting's happening, guys. Looting's happening on the streets.
Wait, so it's okay for them to take the water and the chalk, seize the water, the means of production, I guess?
Yeah, I guess so. And then they came over and seized some more water over here.
And when you asked, they didn't answer.
Not yet. Where was it? Yeah, usually I have it ready here. Oh, right here. Right there. It wasn't on the street, it was on the sidewalk.
Appreciate it.
Why are you seizing the water?
You're all past it. So stupid.
Is that badge number 65? Badge number 6? And none of them are wearing badge numbers or name badges.
Okay.
They've been directed to not wear them.
And they don't have cameras because they're supposed to arrive in October. The body cams.
Okay.
So not only have protesters and media been hurt, arrested, and detained, we're seeing sheriffs seize waters and property of protesters, and reportedly slashing tires.
Are you serious right now? There was like 4 fucking sheriffs over here.
Yeah, they were arresting the driver.
They arrested the driver?
They detained him and they slashed his car with his tires, and they were handing out water bottles and shit. I'm trying to see if there's any slashes on the... Because all 4 of them are flat.
Wow. So, reportedly, that the sheriff's, you're never going to have evidence of that. And then they're also unlawfully detaining and taking pictures of protesters. And this is what I was editing yesterday. So let's take a look at this real quick. It's I'm only going to show a few minutes of this, and then I'm going to post a whole video later. So let's watch this.
Bro, he's just a peaceful person.
For what?
He's just in roller skates.
Get over here. You didn't tell me to move. I was over here.
He's not doing anything.
How's out your pockets? Roll over my car. Why?
I'm not doing anything.
Okay, your ride is on the way, so stay out of trouble. You're not getting arrested because your ride's on the way. We're literally waiting for her ride.
I'm waiting for a ride.
I want to document this. I'm a member of the press, sir. What charges are they being held for, sir? What are the charges, sir? What are the charges, sir? Can I have an officer speak with me, please? Are you the commanding officer, sir? What are the charges?
Mueller.
How you doing?
Hello, sir. You are the commanding officer, correct?
That's what he already tells me.
Yes, sir. I am a member of the press here. We have our LLC. We've been active for 2 years.
The Convo Couch?
Yes, sir.
Never heard of that one. You sound like you feel like you've been running?
Independent media. Yeah. Yeah, I was running. Been carrying all this equipment.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I know. I'm wearing a lot of junk too.
I'm curious what happened here.
We're just IDing people. A lot of people from Oregon and other places that just coming here not to peacefully protest, just to stir the pot and create problems. So they'll be let go in a couple minutes.
What problems are they creating, sir?
Well, when they were over there at the corner over there.
But they were just, standing and
It's
chanting.
hard to see when you get the light.
They were standing and chanting.
Were they chanting? I didn't even hear them chanting.
They were chanting a little bit. Yeah. Okay, so they were just standing. And
Okay.
I don't see the problem in that, sir.
Well, I was talking to the people over there, and the deputies rolled up in the black and whites, and they detained him. So there was a sergeant with those guys. Obviously, my uniform's a little different than them, so I'm not sure why they did either. But I think they're just getting their IDs, and they're going to cut them loose in a minute.
Watch this. They take their pictures. So they detain them, put them in the back of their car, and then now they're taking pictures. Second one also gets his picture taken. This is the guy on skates, on light up skates. Third protester, they got his picture. I just missed it here. Just to show y'all.
So they're using the whole Trump fucking narrative that there's paid protesters coming in from Oregon. Like Villanueva is running with Trump's freaking
yes
rhetoric, and he's using that to unlawfully search
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
He told the Fox 11 guy that. So the Fox 11 guy.
Yeah, we're gonna go to his press release later. I have that in there.
Lord, this
I just wanted to get the guys skating here. I thought it was kind of funny.
So just
violent agitators picking up their possession.
So
I know, like on roller skates lighting up. Sorry.
No. Context is so a lot of progressives here voted for Villanueva. They were excited to oust him or to oust the Republican sheriff, and there was a couple of reservations with some people I spoke to that said, he's not great, blah blah blah. But a lot of progressives in this community that we know were like, yeah, voted for Villanueva. That was one of the only people Pasta voted for that I voted for.
The only person
one of the years.
The only person I voted for. One person.
In 2018, right?
Yep.
In 2018.
Because I walked on doors with him. He seemed like such a, you heard so much shit from the sheriff before him, McDonald, and how awful he was and everything. And it's like, okay, I went walking. I said, let me spend a day with this guy. And at this time, I said I wasn't voting for anybody. I had already made the decision to say no one, Kevin De Leon, because he was running then. And I said, let me see who's going to, you know what I'm saying?
Or Senate.
For Senate.
Yeah.
And I went walking with him. He had the limp and everything. And he went door to door. And anybody who asked him a question, he'd answer it straight up, you know what I'm saying? What we need to do, how he plans to schedule things, who he plans to take off the street, where he plans on, committing a lot of his energy and stuff. And he always outreach to the people, talking to the people. We want to be friendlier. I'm knocking on the doors because I want to run. I want your vote. And I'm not afraid to, hide. And I'm not just going to go to talk to you at a press conference. I'll talk to you face to face. But, I mean, regardless of the fact that it's crazy times right now, you had already got hip to, and I think it was Ernesto, right?
Yeah.
Some of the stuff he's done and some of the police officers he brought back when he was specifically supposed to keep those police officers out.
Police who were, the lawyer, or my lawyer says it in this video I'm going to show. Police that were fired for misconduct.
Yep.
He brought back.
He brought them back.
Which is
bullshit.
Bullshit. All right, let's continue watching this a little bit more here. So I interviewed one of the protesters.
How long?
Did they touch you at all?
Nah.
They didn't search your body or anything like that?
They searched me, didn't touch the groin area though.
The commanding officer right there was saying that people here are from out of state. Are you from out of state?
Nope, born and raised LA County.
Yeah. Do you mind if we see? We're not live or anything. I'm just recording, so I can edit out. Like if we see, just to prove to people that this is bullshit.
Oh yeah, here I'll show you California ID.
Okay. So I'm gonna do this to each person because he just said that these people are.
No, I heard that one last night too, and I was like, everyone I know seems to be from around here.
This narrative now.
Yeah, we'll blur all that out. But yeah.
No, just verifying.
Absolutely. So yeah, that commanding officer was lying.
Oh, he's been lying all night. He lied the other night. I asked him why he wasn't, why his officers weren't wearing badges or name tags, why they covered it up, and he said it's not our place to know. I don't see how they can be civil servants if they're not even telling us.
Are you okay? Did they touch you at all? I'm doing a quick interview with all the protesters who got detained.
Yeah, they did They just put our hands behind our backs, searched us. They did get grabby with some of them, not me, but my lovely colleague over there in the
Palestinian scarf and a WikiLeaks shirt.
Weave. They were getting a little grabby with her.
I know.
And then they shoved us into a car, three of us into one tiny back seat, and then they just ran our records. Couldn't find anything on me, which I found hilarious. What else? And then they let us out. I didn't mention how it happened. They just literally drove up to us, and they just started and then they just I don't know. They just started taking us.
Can you so you guys were kind of marching in a group or just walking in a group?
We were marching in a group about a block this way. We dispersed. And then we dispersed about a block that way. And then we were all just in our own little groups. And I was waiting for, my ride. And then someone else was waiting for their ride too. I forgot who it was. It was me and one other person just waiting for our ride. And they were just with us because, staying together. And then they just rocked up to us and took us, searched us, detained us for a bit, shoved us in their cars. Yeah, lovely experience.
So So that's pretty much what I'm just going to show from that video. There's a lot more. There's multiple interviews with all the protesters, and how one of the protesters says she got groped, and then multiple in both areas.
Which I myself experienced.
And I called my lawyer because I'm in a class action lawsuit, and so is Fiorella right now for our arrests here in Los Angeles on back in May 30th. And I asked him, are police allowed to do this? Are they allowed to just stop protesters and detain them, take their pictures, and put them in the back of their car? And he's like, no, that's completely illegal. That they would have to give a reason why. And the protesters kind of go into, they got 3 different reasons why. One was, there was a gunman or something. 2 was, I forgot what the other one was, but yeah, that's what happened. That was last night or 2 nights ago.
2 nights ago, yeah.
This is such bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because even if you're playing devil's advocate here and you say, okay, you have people coming in from out of town, and even that donkey reporter who said that's Antifa, if you don't know the difference between Antifa and just a regular person on a freaking, a real protester, then you shouldn't be in freaking law enforcement. Really, I mean, this is so fucking dumb right now. These people didn't look like anything like anybody coming in from any part of town. You know, anybody who's coming in from like Portland or whatever, I'm sure they're going to be pretty much hiding, and with a bunch of gear on. You got a kid on friggin' roller skates with lights on, and you're going to tell me he's coming in, what, he roller skate in from friggin' Portland, Oregon, you assholes? This is completely, they're misusing, they are violating our First Amendment rights. This is really disgusting.
So
I didn't realize it was like this. They're doing this stupid shit now.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Villanueva, of all people, he's going to get his ass fucking branded for this shit.
So they're performing surveillance on these protesters to intimidate them and thug them away from coming to these protests. They don't want people to come to these protests.
So they want to intimidate people away too by saying these are out-of-state agitators that are here.
They're trying to turn the community against the protests.
Right.
Yeah,
and
that's what they're doing.
It's worked.
That's what the mainstream media is doing, and
it
is working. It is working. The Fox 11 and even
you know what? They take these small moments and they kind of just play them over and over and over and over and over again. You know, you guys been going to a majority of these protests, even the ones I went to. It's never, ever the protesters getting out of line. You know what I'm saying? No. It's always the cops intimidating the protesters from what we've seen. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that hasn't even happened, because we haven't been to every single protest across the country. But we've been to a lot of them. And, I've seen some people get emotional, yell, but I haven't seen anybody throw an object that could hurt somebody or do anything like that.
Most I've seen is a water bottle, but that was in
water bottle and maybe like fireworks, but like
that. I only saw the water bottle and fireworks on May 30th, though. After that, I haven't seen.
I think there were some fireworks when we didn't go to one of these protests. But so this pulling people over and stopping them and detaining them. This also happened to multiple other activists and media journalists. This also happened the other day with activist Andy, where sheriffs pulled them over, giving the excuse of a dog out of crate violation in the car in a vehicle. So we showed up and then they were let go. So I'm just going to show you what
dog out of crate.
It's ridiculous. So
poor dog.
Oh.
Poor doggy.
Molly out of crate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I show up.
He was live streaming. The other guy was live streaming.
I was live streaming on Instagram. If you guys don't follow our Instagram and Twitter, I'm a member of the press. I can be here. I can be back by that pole.
Yeah, thank you. By that pole. You can film from the pole right there. The pole.
Is there supposed to be a feet limit or something? What is it supposed to be?
They just want people away from them doing their work
but
and stuff.
What's procedure?
Well,
10 feet, 12 feet.
Well,
what's going on?
If you have their official L.A. County Sheriff credentials, supposedly you can get closer. But I mean, that's not even that far, and I have a decent camera that I can zoom in and stuff. So let me continue playing. They just better not arrest me. So they were just cuffed and in the back of a car when we rode up, and then when I started filming, they got released.
Just like before with the other protesters. This happened actually a day before.
Yes, this was a day before the other.
The one he just showed.
The other one.
And it's really interesting though. This is
Are you good?
This is stuff that the news channels won't cover. but we're covering it, and this is why we do it, because we're like, wait a minute, if we're not there to document this, and
hello, can I have your badge numbers, please?
Phone.
Can I have your badge numbers?
Who's gonna
I need your badge numbers, please. Can I have your badge number, please?
This is why the press is so important.
Back up? Why? You're not.
My name?
Telling them to back up.
I know. So I say my name and my birthday, but we can keep that on the low.
Johnny's old.
Yeah, she was like all threatening. Back up. She like grabbed her gun and stuff, like
What?
It's my First Amendment right to be here. You have to tell me your badge number, though. You won't tell me that.
You're acting like a bunch of gangsters.
And they drove off. So that was that particular incident. I really felt like gang vibes. I really felt like gang vibes. Like it was very thuggish. Like it wasn't professional,
Well, the whole police department now is acting freaking thuggish. It looks like the way they're bum rushing people and everything. And I mean, I would think that, especially after they screwed up that one time when they arrested you guys, that all the police departments and sheriffs, LA Police Department, wherever
the LAPD backed up.
I think they would like.
But this is the
sheriffs. But I think that all the police departments organizations would back up and be like respectful. This is California. There's lawyers out there left and right trying to sue police departments. Where are these civil rights lawyers at? Let's get on the case over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, NOG is working on it, but then there's some pro bono lawyers that are just kind of giving up on it because it's so much litigation. So activist Andy, he actually reported on his Instagram story that they touched him inappropriately, and it kind of triggered some trauma in him. And I just wanted to make that point clear that this is what they're doing. They're violating multiple rights. They're touching our bodies.
Like
I've experienced this before.
When they
also,
did the LAPD did that, and it was a woman too doing it. So it was like, I don't care if you're a woman or a man. Like it was just like unnecessary. I was wearing a very thin dress. I wasn't hiding a gun. Like it's like this idea that we're gonna be hiding a gun, and we were lucky because we didn't get like booked or anything. We just got a paper thing, and that's what they've been doing is like trying to like intimidate them, and say, oh, like we'll let them go. We're just gonna traumatize people, put them in the back of the car, ruin their hands, and then continue on as if nothing happened.
And then lastly, out of this short segment of people who actually film themselves being, detained and arrested by cops for no reason. Be Like Mike, who is a fantastic photographer, and big credit to him. He also got detained and cuffed by the sheriff's department, and this was let's see, on the 9th, I believe. So I'm just going to let that play out. He said, today I was cuffed and detained for absolutely no reason. I was walking down the street with a friend towards a protest when 2 squad cars rode up on us, and they did what they do. The officers weren't wearing name tags. They wouldn't give me their names or badge numbers. This is America. This is why I'm in the streets protesting daily.
Sheriff or police to LAPD?
No, that was sheriffs. This is all sheriffs. Yeah, this is all in the same area over there, right outside of the sheriff's department. They really don't want to become like a Portland or anything, and it seems
they're
like
moving their ass that way.
They're with their reaction, they're moving that way.
Yeah, see, if you really want to stop it, freaking find justice, accountability, whatever it is people want. But if you're gonna continue to push people that way, things are gonna get violent. And like I said, up to this point, I haven't seen the violence from the protesters at these protests, especially in particular.
Especially at these.
They've been like, and it hasn't even been Black Lives Matter either. It's been like community groups and stuff.
Well, BLM LA was there, and then they leave, and then at nighttime is when they start. They leave before nighttime, and then at nighttime is when they start doing the shooting. So Villanueva held a press conference the other day on the 9th, where he proceeded to go into these are the outside agitators narrative.
And it's important to hear from our community residents, because all too often the shouting, the yelling, the antics from disruptive groups that are definitely not from this community are overshadowing the voices of our own community.
Bullshit.
And I have here a tally of those who were arrested from as Sherman Oaks, Monterey Park, at least these are closer, Claremont, but then we go to Santa Ana, Lansing, Michigan, San Francisco, Santa Monica, Westminster, Tallahassee, Florida, Riverside.
Oh, geez.
Definitely not our local residents. And those are the ones that were arrested right here
that's such
on the
crap.
street in front of the station when we declared unlawful assemblies and they started throwing objects, dangerous things at our deputies. And
that's such bullshit. Everybody knows everybody moves around in California. Those kids from Florida, Michigan, have just been.
They're young. They're in school and
exactly.
shit.
This is such crap, Villanueva.
Like, I didn't get my driver's license until like this year,
What
and
a
I've been here for
crock
2
of
years. You know what I'm
And
saying?
mine was stolen.
And then
Oh my
V's is
God.
stolen, so she has to use her Florida license. And guess what? All the DMVs are closed. This is what the protesters say in the video, in the rest of that video.
I can't believe he would paint that type of picture,
He's
or at least
pa-
attempt to
he's
try to paint
painting
that
that
picture.
picture,
What an
man.
asshole.
He's painting that picture.
Oh, it's
Oh
so
my
bad. It is so
God.
bad, you guys. Like progressives are.
Is
in
he out there? Have we
California-
seen him out there in the streets, or is he just?
Apparently, he went there one night. And
Yeah,
then
right,
he was
he's
like
cozy
way
in his
far
podium.
back. He was way far back. The next part I have, just look at the reaction from the sheriff when this NLG lawyer kind of like tells him the whole situation here.
I'm an attorney with the National Lawyers Guild, and we filed a class action against the Sheriff's Department for excessive force on protesters. And here is someone who's inside right now who was picked up by the sheriff while he was transporting two arrestees home. And they arrested him for picking up kind of debris here on the street. I think you need to understand that these protests are about the killing of innocent civilians by the sheriff's department. I have a recent case where a mentally ill man was shot but the sheriff has to stop using rubber bullets unlawfully on protesters, shooting them.
Okay, I don't hear a question in that, but I will tell you that everybody is welcome to exercise their First Amendment right. Then it becomes a riot. It becomes an assault on the deputies, and they will have to take appropriate action to make sure they protect themselves. And if they're breaking the law, they will be arrested. Thank you.
Okay, so how long were the protesters there on Saturday before they went at them? 5 minutes.
There was one day where the protesters literally arrived, and then like 30 minutes later or like 15 minutes later like that, the sheriffs declared it an unlawful assembly and started shooting people. They don't turn into riots.
There's no riots.
There is no riots.
I mean, I
like, why are they
if there were
painting this
riots,
fucking
we
picture?
would
This
show
is
it.
crazy.
We would show the riots. We'd be like, look at these people.
Yeah, I don't see
doing
anything
this.
on fire. I don't see anybody looting. I don't see any of that shit. But now I see this bullshit excuse that there's people from outer town. Is an excuse to unlawfully search people? Is an excuse to not show your badge number and stay hidden? That's bullshit. It's an excuse that in one of the richest freaking economies in California, all the money that we have, that you don't have video cameras right now. That's bullshit. You just don't want to be accountable for your
helicopters
actions.
watching the protesters too.
Oh, they've had helicopters every
For
night.
like 60
at least
kids.
multiple.
Dude, they
at
could
least
have had those
multiple
cameras
helicopters.
a long time ago.
Exactly.
Such a crock of shit.
Exactly.
This is why people are.
This is why they're protesting.
Where's Pete Buttigieg rally at? Because Glory Jones says, Pasta, you need to go full Craig at the Pete Buttigieg rally for us and get Villanueva's ass. That's your ass, Mr. Villanueva. I knocked doors with this dude. I literally, at one point, I went off. It was me and him. His wife was following behind. I was making sure he wasn't dehydrated. I'm like, here, Sheriff, sip this. You know, he's got the limp and whatnot, and he was just pushing it. And I was really impressed by what he was saying. And I thought this was a situation, well, I don't want to vote for the lesser of two evils, but when it comes to, the sheriff's department, maybe we can get a lot less poor people in jail if we get the right sheriff there. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? It was a time when people were talking about Krasner, but just to see him with the unlawful policemen he's hiring back and now using this rhetoric, I can't believe he's going there. I can't believe you're going there, Alex.
Real quick, I want to show this other part where he says, "Look at all this equipment they're using. They're like football players." So let's watch this. Hold on, let's watch this. This is just it's funny.
This is a small. It's a caption of some of the items have been recovered from the individuals arrested. As you can see, they came, they almost look like football players with helmets, goggles, heat-resistant gloves, shields, and then different objects to throw, obviously. Mortar rounds, fireworks, glass bottles, water bottles that are frozen solid,
cherry bombs,
and chunks of concrete. You can see a variety of all the different things. And these people, All of these things were seized right here in front of the station. From the corner there, Normandy, to Vermont, within this chunk in front of the station, everything you see here was seized.
Weapons of mass destruction. Those are WMDs, don't you know? Okay, so he's really pushing this narrative that these protesters are violent looters,
from out of
that
town.
they're rioters from out of town. That is like literally the right-wing narrative.
That's the Donald Trump narrative.
That's the Fox 11.
That's the straight up, like, they're paid.
And
you know
they're
what I'm
not.
saying?
And Johnny's going to post it later, but literally we asked them. I was there. We asked them, who, like, are you guys from here? Because this is what they're saying. And that they are, except a couple who went to school or who hadn't changed their ID. The DMV is shut down.
Because the DMV is shut
But
down.
everybody I see is like, you can tell there were protesters. Like, if I was a cop, I'd be like, protester, protester, protester. You know what I'm saying? There's no, like, freaking guy like, all right, this guy might be someone. Like, you know what I'm saying? They had a lot of people in freaking Portland who you knew that they're like, okay, these are people that they're going to go after because they don't look like the actual protesters here. In LA, it's all protesters.
Well, and
Every time you go out, it's protesters.
And
Like
the reason they're
young-
wearing these
young people.
helmets and these things.
I'm gonna show you. Here's the reason why. And here's someone put this together. They have Sheriff Villanueva here, and then they have this police response, and then
This is a small caption of some of the items that have been recovered from the individuals arrested. As you can see, they came, they almost look like football players. With helmets, goggles, heat-resistant gloves, shields, and then different objects to throw, obviously. Mortar rounds, fireworks, glass bottles, water bottles that are frozen solid, and chunks of concrete. You can see a variety of all the different things. And these people, all of these things were seized right here in front of the station. From the corner there, Normandy, to Vermont, within this.
And so just to paint a clearer picture, this was that video.
Look
on
at
So they just started unloading?
Yeah.
Did anybody throw anything?
No, what they did was bring up this little cabinet. They brought up a little barrier between them and the cops, and then they just right there. That's it. And then they just started
Because like people are wearing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There's young protesters there. I know what that's like to run.
This is like fucking warfare. They're dressed like football players. These are dressed like they're going to war against these people.
Yeah,
who
I
are
know,
unarmed.
and I'm like, didn't you see the sergeant in the video I showed earlier? I'm like, he's dressed up like a fuck.
Yeah.
He's dressed up in all riot gear. They're dressed up in riot gear, and there's literally no riots. And then they keep saying the narrative that no one no one wants them there, but here's a video of the family of Dijon Kizzee welcomes all to participate because they've heard the narrative being spun right now. With the family of Dijon Kizzee letting folks know that everyone from anywhere who wants to come peacefully demonstrate in Dijon's name is welcome.
They said peacefully demonstrate.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, they are peacefully demonstrating. And where does that narrative come from? They're outsiders. Oh, who'd they do it to? Oh, they did it to Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. faced criticism for being in Birmingham as an outsider. And he said, Dr. King explains that he, reads criticisms, and he acknowledges the criticism is one of many outsiders coming in to cause trouble. Their words, he explains his purpose. He is a president based in Atlanta, but operating out throughout the South. And he says that the SCLC, his organization, answered the call, and hence Dr. King insists that I, along with several members of my staff, am here because I was invited here.
You're allowed to go wherever there's injustice in the United States. You're allowed to fucking go there. Yeah. And let me tell you something. We've been talking about the LA protests are a lot more peaceful than some of the protests we've seen in other places. You guys went to Seattle, right? So I went to Portland with you. We saw what it was like over there. But, I mean, this is ridiculous, and I can't believe that Alex Villanueva is playing this card that they're protesters out of town, agitators paid from out of town, and using that, not identifying themselves with their badge numbers, unlawful search and seizures, and seeing them light up those kids like a Christmas tree for putting a little barrier out.
That's
where we're at right now?
The response
wow, the
is
sheriffs
just,
are pieces of shit.
The response is just like, what the fuck? It's like, what the fuck?
Punishment doesn't fit the crime.
Beverly Hills Police Department, the best police department so far, right? I guess. They're the
they were
nicest.
pretty.
Sir, would you mind standing over there? Hey, Rodriguez, can you get my friend a tea over here? He's thirsty.
To media, and
it was so nice.
They were nice to us.
To Black Future Project, they weren't too nice. They detained them. And stuff.
They weren't. But they were trying to run him off at one point. Like, just leave.
Yeah. But anyways, let me play this real quick, where it's the family who says that.
Okay, family, that's it. You heard it from the family. As long as you're peaceful, we don't care where you come from. You can come from China. As long as you're coming to help fight for her family, you're more than welcome. So this is Najee Ali, spokesperson for Attorney Ben Crump and the Kizzee family, signing off, and God bless you.
Is Ben Crump like in charge of every case?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But anyways, that's pretty much it. And what I wanted to say was, so instead of doing the simple thing and having justice for Dijon Kizzee, who again was shot in the back over 20 times for a bicycle infraction, they have prevented people from exercising their First Amendment right. They are brutally terrorizing protesters and media journalists. They are painting a false narrative that these peaceful protests are riots and hurting the community, and they are breaking the law using Gestapo tactics of detaining protesters and taking their pictures and damaging their property. My opinionated summary is this, that the LA Sheriff's Department has, through their reactions from a peaceful protest, have shown exactly who they are. They're acting like thugs. They're thugs in uniforms with badges. And there's currently a lawsuit from a deputy whistleblower showing the gangs within the department. Villanueva, according to my lawyer, has hired a sheriff who was fired for misconduct, and the whole system needs to be reformed. And speaking of that, actually, I forgot. I got to play this really quick. This is actually my lawyer here, who went and spoke at a press
They haven't
conference
gone anywhere, and yet look at them. What kind of protection are they supposedly offering? What is this? Everything's a standing logic on its head. We filed a class action lawsuit in federal court 2 weeks ago, complaining of the kind of conduct that started way back on May 30th. Took place downtown in Grand Park, Pan Pacific Park, and then later on in Compton on June 21st, following one of the Andres Guardado rallies. And what we've seen is that the conduct of the Sheriff's Department has gotten worse. It's gotten progressively worse. They're shooting rubber bullets, they're using pepper spray, they're using tear gas, and this is all unprovoked. I've been interviewing numerous people that have suffered injuries, that have suffered violations of their rights, and to the person, almost nobody ever saw anything being thrown at the sheriffs until after the sheriffs already started shooting at them. Sometimes they responded. But I'm going to ask you this. We're going to pose this question in court. Legally speaking, if there's 100 demonstrators and one person throws a water bottle, do the other 99 innocent people become legitimate targets?
Yeah, wow.
You hear the answer. The answer is no. So what they're doing is they're targeting people. They're creating war zones. Look at this facility over here. Does it look like a facility that can be easily damaged by folks? Each and every demonstration that has taken place over here, they've had those silly little fake barbed wire barricades. I don't know, somebody calls them slinkies. They're like super slinkies. Okay? Sheriff Villanueva will go down in history for inventing the super slinky, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? But we're going to get him out because he got in on false pretenses. Unfortunately, most of the Latino community went into the ballot boxes and they looked. They saw somebody with a Spanish surname. They said, "Oh yeah, voto por él," and we did it. We did it to ourselves. He claimed that he was going to take ICE out of the jails.
That's the thing. He's also
he lied to us about that. Then what the first thing he did was he went and hired deputies that had been fired for misconduct, including one that had been accused of and convicted of domestic violence against his girlfriend, who was a deputy sheriff. Hired him back. The board of supervisors said, no, you can't do that. He did it anyways. So then they decided to cut off his paycheck. Then they removed him from that emergency board that he was chairing at that time. So now it's a war. It's a war between Sheriff Villanueva, the Board of Supervisors, and the community at large. That's why what you're seeing is you're seeing this armed occupation. When he uses this nonsense of all the demonstrators that are coming down here are outside agitators, as was referred to earlier, ask yourself, how many deputies from his department live in this community? How many? Why should he resort to this 1930 style red baiting? It's because they're wrong on the law. They're absolutely wrong on the law, and they're going to find out very soon when we bring it to a judge and ask for some sanctions against them. I want to point out, before I leave, that there have been a number of demonstrators that have been injured. Many of them are here, and I'm going to ask all of you that can to please step up and reveal your injuries. I see a couple hips.
And then, a bunch of protesters come up and show all their injuries. Also, the Juliana girl, she comes up as well.
I just want to point out, too, that Villanueva won because he had a lot of Latino support, too.
A lot.
And I remember telling
Juliana.
these people that I used to work with in the Latino community, oh, yeah, who should I vote for sheriff? I'm like, oh, yeah, vote for Villanueva because he's Latino. He's talked to the Latinos. He's done like that's what he said. I mean, this is a guy that every progressive was like, yeah, like hopefully we'll have a good cop. Like
we interviewed him during the freaking
AOC event.
Oh my God, it was just a double whammer right there. Had we only known, and look at the future and go back. Where was Rick Sanchez? AOC
Rick Sanchez, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch.
Anyways, that's a segment, guys.
It's a great segment, Johnny.
Wow.